Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome on board to the world-famous studio tour. Get all settled in. Please move to the right side of the tram, filling in all those available seats. Any kids who speed through so forward has a good time, they'll put them towards the center of the tram and wait for the tram gates. They are going to be opening and closing on your left, so just make sure that your hands and feet are working, and that way you're not getting hurt. That's what we're thinking, too, as you're getting settled in. Weather has been gorgeous today, right? February, where you'll see winter in sight. Well, you actually have me to thank. It's gorgeous because I just clocked in, so you're very welcome. What's up, everybody? How are we doing? We having fun so far today? Look at all these smiles. That's why the weather is gorgeous, really, because of y'all. I do get to be your tour guide today. My name is Rashaun. I'm so honored y'all decided to be my Valentines today. Y'all are such sweethearts. Do we all have our 3D glasses? Y'all are so professional. I really even had to ask y'all already got them. Well, then you're ready. Let's head out. Look to your left first. You see all your fans? You can't go anywhere. They didn't come for this work. They came for you, so give them all a wave goodbye as you head out. But tell them no meet and greets, okay? Get your family so busy. We're going to get you down to the slot where you belong. And you guys are not the only famous people on board this tram. Do you realize who we got as your driver today? Y'all, we got Richard as our driver. Who wasn't supposed to work today? He just heard y'all were here and wanted to hang out, so he pulled up. Y'all, please give a round of applause to welcome Richard. Oh, I love that, but don't get too excited. He doesn't have a license. He just loves movies. So let him try to transfer the tour. You're going to be in amazing hands. You're also in good hands because I don't have to host this by myself. Universal got me the best co-host out there. He breaks hearts. He breaks character. It is Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, hey there. You made it. Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure that you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guide.
Rashaun.
And the greatest driver.
Richard.
They're the best. I love them. Even though
Rashaun.
owes me $5. I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
Actually owe him 20. I'm really glad I forgot, but he is right about the safety rules. First, if you need guest assistance or have a medical emergency, if you drop something of value off the side of the tram, or if you have any sound or video issues, reach up and grab the red emergency cord that runs along the center of the ceiling of the tram, and I'll be back to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. Otherwise, during the entire tour, please remain seated, keeping your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. The studio is very property. If at any point during the tour you drop your phone or can't wait to use the restroom, pull the cord or remain seated. Please no smoking of any kind during the tour, and be prepared. The tour today features loud noises, fire effects, and many water effects, so you may get wet. And there are also 7 tram movements during the tour, so secure your personal belongings and hold on. Finally, for your safety and those around you, please do not use selfie sticks while you are on board. Now, just to clarify, remember to get things started, this is a real studio that you're headed to. Universal loves you so much, but not enough to build a fake studio as a theme park, right? It's where they film the real TV shows and movies. You have to leave the theme park to get there. You can wave goodbye if you saw Super Nintendo World back there. You also have my favorite ride in the whole park, the escalator. The newest ride that's coming on your left, Fast and Furious Hollywood Trip. And then work where they just announced it. It's opening this summer. It's going to be so soon. But while you wave goodbye to the theme park, you can say hello to the movies, literally. You've been noticing these posters everywhere? It's the Universal timeline you're traveling. These are just some of the films that make up more than 110 years of history here in Universal City, and you picked a great time to take the tour because they're actually celebrating a lot of history right now. So at Universal Studios, it's a big part of NBC Universal. This is one of the world's leading entertainment companies. You have Peacock, Universal Pictures, Focus Features, NBC Television. Well, this year, NBC is celebrating its 100th anniversary. From trailblazing radio and television to launching the Today Show, The Voice, SNL, Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, The Office, every level of a show in between. NBC's been the home of entertainment, news, and sports for an entire century. We're celebrating the network all year long, but I feel like the celebration officially got started because y'all just showed up, the VIPs. But speaking of this, you've been traveling a lot through time as you go down this Universal timeline. You started at the top with the 1914, David and Pythias. The first feature look up to be started and completed down here. Takes you all the way down to Oppenheimer on the left. Once you pass Cillian Murphy in that poster, that means you've headed to where the action happens. It gets busy here in the front lot. The reason why it is so busy is because of these buildings to your left. These are sound stages. They're going to be everywhere. When you watch TV and film, the majority of what you see, we're talking 80 to 90% of it, it was filmed inside of a soundstage. If you go inside, it just looks like a warehouse. Or another visual example, picture zombie apocalypse. First place I'm running to, Costco. Don't take my idea, I think I'm a genius. I'm gonna ransack that place, stock up. Once I get it empty, it looks just like a soundstage. So you have to create the worlds you want to shoot in. Build your sets, load them in there, and they're good at it too. Often it looks like they're filming in real places every time. You still can. You've probably heard of shooting on location before, but sometimes you think they're at a real restaurant. You might think that they are outside of the character's backyard. Even in the outside set, it could still be a big one that they built for indoors instead of a soundstage like these. I'll show you how that magic works.
I have the room ready for you and Mrs. Barrington.
Thank you, Will.
Did you hear that? Mrs. Barrington.
Not quite, darling, but soon. Very much. Hello.
Yes?
Every bottle of champagne sent to the room at once. And make sure that we are not disturbed for any reason.
That was great.
That was great. That was great. Excellent. Excellent.
Love that shot. Because just in a few seconds, you can go from what you think is reality to the actual reality, and they can make a hotel inside of a soundstage with 3 walls and some cameras. You've been driving through a really popular spot for soundstage. You see this kind of a hub for a lot of them. You drove by stages 8 and 7, those along with 14 coming up on the left. This is a popular spot for one of my favorite shows, Bel Air, filmed here if you know it. It's a reboot of The Fresh Prince of Bel Air. It was on Peacock. And I also love when they film here because they would be up close and personal with us because, believe it or not, something more exciting than these sound stages is the empty parking lot. Trust me on it, when they're filming in here, it gets really busy here because that's where everybody lives. It's like a neighborhood, the home away from home from everybody working on the tour or working on the production. The stars' trailers go right there. Their neighbors are hair, makeup, wardrobe trucks, even something called the honey wagon where there's actually no honey. It's because it's where they keep the toilets. You're welcome for the warning. I thought that went out the hard way. But we were just talking about Bel Air. It was really cute because they actually just wrapped up their 4th and final season. So when they were filming the series finale, they were having a huge celebration over there in the parking lot. It was such a game changer for Peacock when that show first came out. So while they're wrapping up over there, they're actually just getting started for a brand new Peacock show that you might know if you're a fan of The Office. It's called The Paper. And it's in the same universe as The Office. So everybody at Dunder Mifflin, Michael Scott, those characters had a documentary crew that was filming their lives. Well, that same doc crew is making another one, this time at a newspaper. It's called The Paper, and it filmed right here in Stage 19. That's getting ready to come up on your right.
Hi, Studio Tour.
We're here on the lot where we filmed The Paper, which follows our characters' day-to-day lives as employees of a struggling newspaper, the Toledo Truth-Teller.
That's right. Unlike many other TV shows, The Paper uses multiple cameras and a variety of shot types and movements to give our show a true documentary feel.
Because the camera is always around whenever we're on the set, it's important that we stay in character.
Hey, Oscar, what's your favorite part of working on the lot?
I wasn't expecting you to ask me that. You know what? I love being around talented, wonderful, hilarious people. And I also get to work with Chelsea Fry. How about you, Chelsea? What's your favorite?
Oh, I love waving to the trains.
Oh. Okay. You can probably stop waving now.
No, that's fine. Just try.
Yeah?
Yeah, just try. That's good.
And in that Stage 19 where you just passed where they filmed, they also have one of my favorite shows if you watch Hacks. They've been doing season 5. It's a Universal comedy on HBO Max. Their star is Jean Smart, who's fresh off of her Golden Globe win for Best Actress in a Comedy. Add that to the 4 that she's already won for this role alone. She's also my aunt. She has 7, and she's not really my aunt. I'm just hoping secretly that she is. But before any actor like her shows up for work, there's still a ton of stuff that has to get done here on the lot before any of those cameras start rolling. It's all a part of pre-production. It goes down to your left, and these production bungalows that are popping up. So this is where all the big companies you know move in because you have to do things like get your scripts written. You have to cast your favorite actors, so doing budgeting. Now they're called bungalows. It's not like you're going on vacation because these were your dressing rooms back in the day for some of the legends. We're talking Lucille Ball had one here, Rock Hudson. Because back then when you worked for a studio, you were married to them. No matter where you worked, it was in your contract that one place had to be your exclusive home. So say, for example, if you work for Warner Brothers down that hill, if you want to come up to Universal for the weekend, do a side gig and go back, nope, you just cheated on them. One spot. So you really get a home away from home with an entire bungalow as your dressing room here. But now these companies live in here. You're actually passing a historic one right now, 5195. It's the only bungalow to have this face on it, and it's because it belonged to Alfred Hitchcock, who I know you know. Legendary director of classic thrillers, Think the Birds, Psycho, and a lot of those scary movies I can't handle because I got nightmares from Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. This is not a game to me. But such a legendary director who did all of his projects here. And that bungalow wasn't always in this spot. It used to be where Jurassic World was. If you rode that ride earlier, that is nowhere close. So you would think that they probably just broke it down and then rebuilt it here on the lot. They picked it all up in one piece with a crane, carried it through the sky, and set it to where it is today, which is pretty insane. And Hitchcock, of course, legendary director, not just for thrillers, but he was inspiring filmmakers and directors of all different genres.
Lou said he could move into that office. I said, no, I can never be in Hitchcock's office. That should be a shrine, a museum.
Very exciting, just to know that he was there and walk by and know he was in that office.
Hitchcock has influenced every director. I saw Hitchcock once walking around the commissary. Hitchcock had his bungalow on the lot. I used to go see Alfred Hitchcock.
I loved working with him. I highly respect him. He really understood fear and terror.
The Birds? That was a really scary movie.
The Birds? Oh, man. That had me looking at crows like for the next 10 years.
Psycho, of course. Vertigo was one of the all-time great masterpieces. Hitchcock was master.
So him used to have one of those bungalows, is now home with some of these companies that you know. If you've heard of Mark Platt Productions, a lot of them shut them out because they had a really busy year this past year. If you saw How to Train Your Dragon, the live-action adaptation, they worked on that right here. Maybe even Peep the Balloon for Wicked, because they worked on Wicked and, of course, Part 2, Wicked for Good, which I try to act like I'm a chill person when I'm not on the tram. It doesn't last long. It's really obvious I was a theater kid, so you know these movies were flawless for me. And I even saw them in 4DX. I don't know if you've seen a 4DX movie before. That's where you're in the theater, the chair's throwing your body around, there's water being blown in your face, smoke. I was going through it. Physically, emotionally, all at the same time. I cannot recommend it enough, though. 10 out of 10. And I was already going to love this movie, not just because I knew the Broadway show, but then I got my favorite, Ariana Grande as Glinda. Yeah. Now, she didn't yell in the movies, that was my only note. But she's a veteran of this lot. She's filmed everywhere here, even to your left. This building behind all these windows, there's sound stages 25 to 26. She was in there for Hairspray Live. And it was the first production to open up these stages, so there's some of the newer ones on the lot. Recently, they've been home of St. Dennis Medical, if you know the show Superstore. Same creators, it's their new comedy where they've been doing season 2.
Welcome to St. Dennis Medical Center.
St. Dennis Regional Medical.
I have access to some really good stuff, and I will hook you up.
No, man. That was a test.
Like the Avengers, you know?
We're not supposed to have favorite patients, but we do.
I almost don't want him to get better.
Pale, kind of blotchy.
It's the other one.
Oh my God, that's much worse. Wow.
Now, as you head up this hill, you might have noticed you get the jump from the front lot to the back lot, seeing these metro sets. The back lot's where you shoot the big stuff, large-scale exterior shots, but we are going to take a quick detour first, though. So while you're getting your sneak peek at the concrete jungle, get ready. You're headed inside of the real one.
It's the original King Kong that made me watch direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up with adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, but just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island.
Adventure awaits us here in Skull Island, everyone, so be sure to remain seated and hold on. And here's also a place to make sure that you hold on to all your belongings super close to you, like your phones, your wallets, your children if you love them. Or even if you don't, that's your business, but please still hold on tight. You don't want to drop anything in here. It's really difficult to get the items back from inside. And if you have your phone, just double check, make sure that your flashes are turned off. Don't use flash photography or flash videos. That light can get really bright. It sometimes blinds your view of the attraction, but also blinds it for everyone else around you. So just double check, make sure it's turned off so that everybody can enjoy.
The Universal tram is winding its way through a very rough, narrow trail in Skull Island, allowing the visitors a little sneak peek at some of the wildlife in Skull Island.
And it's about to be that time, everybody. Throw on your 3D glasses. You're headed into Skull Island. is King Kong 360 3D. If you came for a nap, I'm sorry if that woke you up, but you're going to do real quick. The visual effects are still amazing. They come from the team Weta Effects based out of New Zealand. If you don't know that name, you have seen their work. They are everywhere. Even this past year, we saw the visual effects of Marvel's Captain America Brave New World. My chicken jockeys on the tram. They made it for Warner Brothers for a Minecraft movie. Avatar Fire and Ash that just came out. They got Oscar nominated for those. Add that to the 7 that they've already won. They can do it all. But I also love the real life effects that they make happen in the King Kong movie. Like on your screen, it looks like they travel to this place that has all these real huge cliffs when this is a boat, a backdrop, and a dream. You can do that in a soundstage or transform an exterior backlot set like New York Street again to the left. That is my favorite part of the backlot because it is so immersive. The buildings can get up to 50 feet high. They have a theater district, financial district, even a Macy's, but you can't shop in it. I already tried, it was fake. And they tricked me twice. Y'all can make fun of me, I deserve it. We got an email to tour guides once that said Dunkin' Donuts now on the backlot. I didn't read anything else. I just hurried down here so I could beat the line. I got kicked out immediately because it was a set for the show Ted. If you know the movies Ted and Ted 2, there's a spin-off show on Peacock to New York straight to downtown Boston for that show. So please let my life be a lesson to you. When you get an email or an article, do not just read the title, read the full thing. They got me twice.
Hi everyone, Seth MacFarlane. I'm excited to share that. Look at my Peacock original event series, Ted. It's a prequel series set in 1993. And that means our skilled craftspeople had to build a high school, a house, and even recreate downtown Boston as it looked back in the day, using exterior sets and facades that you're about to see on the tour. But I should warn you, Ted is intended for mature audiences only. So grown-ups, tell the kids to go in the other room before you watch. Oh, come on!
So this is an example where you don't have to be so literal with the New York street name, turn it into whatever city that you want, like Boston for Ted, Baltimore for Hairspray Live when they were here. Or be like American Ninja Warrior, they get creative and turn it into their obstacle course. And it looks amazing, especially when we do these episodes at night. One of the ninjas who competed took my tour, I got to talk to him, he was 12 years old. Made me feel like I'd never done anything athletic in my life, but that's from my therapist. What I learned from him though, is that he had to get here at 5:30 p.m. for his night shoot. He didn't get home till 6:30 in the morning. So they could be long overnight shoots, even for just a 1-hour episode. So sometimes when you see those audience members screaming and cheering, you might think that they're fans, but a lot of times they're actors. They'll get paid to be there whether they like that show or not, you just gotta pretend that you do. And normally you don't have to stay up that late to be in the audience for a show like The Voice, which if you're a fan, this is their home. They film there on stages 30 and 31 to your left. They connect the two together and it makes a huge mega sound stage. That gives them the room for the huge set, all the audience, personalities of the coaches. Which if you watch this recent season, Niall Horan was the coach that won, beat out Michael Bublé, Reba McEntire, and Snoop Dogg. Which whatever producer put Reba and Snoop on the same season together, I think they are a genius. I love it not just because they're opposites, but Reba is just like my mom, Snoop is exactly like my dad, so I want them to get into a fight like my parents used to do. I think that would be excellent television. My mom won every time, by the way, undefeated. Reba has been working hard though, because she's been having 2 different shows. They just happen to be neighbors. She has The Voice, then she just has to walk a few feet to stages 32 and 33. That's where she's been doing Happy's Place, and it's her sitcom on NBC right now. They've been doing season 2.
Hey there, I'm Reba McEntire, and welcome to Happy's Place. We shoot our heartfelt comedy right here on Universal Live. Now, unlike most TV shows, we are a multi-camera sitcom, meaning several cameras capture every scene from a different angle, all at the same time. Each episode takes about a week to make, from the first read-through of the script to rehearsals to taping in front of a live studio audience. And let me tell you, every step is a blast. Enjoy the ride, and we'll see you at Happy's Place. Yoo-hoo! I'm starting to sweat. I was thinking about it. The men are the ones who are supposed to ask the women out. That hasn't been true for 30 years. I haven't dated in 30 years.
Happy's Place, Friday on NBC and Peacock.
I grew up watching her original sitcom, and probably know the theme song. A single mom who works 2 jobs. She's been literally working 2 jobs over there. She runs that block, and that song is a banger. But you don't have to travel that far to go all the way from Happy's Place to The Good Place. I'm talking the Kristen Bell, Ted Danson show. You might recognize these sets because they were in that show. This part of the backlot is called Little Europe. Little Europe is also famous and important because it is a home of the Universal classic monsters. They're so important because they are the reason Universal is here. So this is another example where you can go beyond the Europe name. Go beyond Europe, this world, even this life. Because in here was the afterlife if you're a fan of The Good Place.
You, Eleanor Shellstrom, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, I have never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here.
You're passing that yogurt shop as we speak with the blue doors. That's where Kristen Bell, William Jackson Harper, and Darcy Carden did this scene.
I can't risk going to the bad place.
Okay, well, maybe it's not all that bad.
How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
And Little Europe, though, has been Europe in so many things throughout its history. You can go all the way back to All Quiet on the Western Front, which you're for an award season, Bub. That was Universal's very first winner for Best Picture at the Oscars. Which award season, aka right now, this is my March Madness. If you want to talk predictions, if you want to see my spreadsheet, come talk to me after the tour. I have so many thoughts, I'm so excited. But zoom ahead to movies like Around the World in 80 Days that filmed in here. Cinderella, the Brandy and Whitney Houston version, aka the best version. Little Europe was also a fictional country too, because if you're a Princess Diaries fan, this is all Genovia. And Princess Diaries 2, Royal Engagement, when they actually travel to the country and you can see it. I love when heads pop up during that. Y'all have amazing taste. If you remember the scene where they had the parade, we just did it backwards. So Anne Hathaway and then Abigail Breslin, when she was a kid, she was with all the orphans when they were walking down the hill during that parade. We just traveled up it. Going also to one of my princesses right now, Sabrina Carpenter, love her. We were in the same spot not too long ago. She filmed her commercial for the Olympics. Not the Winter Olympics, but the ones in Paris from this past summer. She sat at the cafe talking to the imaginary bird because she had too much me espresso. That happened near that yogurt shop where The Good Place filmed, so she was right here too. But none of that would not be here for these current productions if it wasn't the home of those classic monsters that we were talking about. And they were specifically born in this open square on your right around this blue corner. This is the Court of Miracles. And it gets its name from the real location in Paris, but you also might recognize that name from the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Not just the animated one, I love that one too, the different theme park. You go all the way to the real location in the novel of Hunchback and the Universal monster film, black and white era. But to me, Quasimodo's not a real monster, they just treat him like one. The real monsters that you know that come from this court, you got Creature from the Black Lagoon, but also the Wolfman, the Mummy, the Invisible Man, Dracula, my sister, and then also my favorite monster, Frankenstein, who came from right here too.
What is it now? The monster. He's in the woods. Get out the bloodhounds. Raise all the men you can, lock the women indoors, and wait for me. Are you ready? Take your torches and go! Why don't you shoot it?
Now, I told you these monsters were so important because they put Universal on the map when they first started out there. The backbone, they're the reason we had this big studio tour in the first place. And Universal loves them right back. You maybe even saw a beautiful tribute to them earlier when we were talking about that mural near their metro sets. If you didn't see it before, I do want to show you too because it's amazing. It was captured by the street artist Tristan Eaton. This was on that wall behind the metro sets.
An instrumental part of the process of designing these murals was getting to go to the Universal archive. Going there, I got to see in person props from the movies, photos from behind the scenes, original illustrations from those movie posters, all this stuff. I had an early affection for movie monsters. I was always fascinated by the magic behind making movies. But I fell in love with zombie movies and monster movies as a young kid. My world that I come from is skateboarding and graffiti and comic books. You always have to pay homage to where that art form started. And for me, it started painting stuff in the street illegally, tagging billboards and dumpsters. Without that, I never would be here using spray paint like this.
And again, these films were not just important for Universal, they were important for the movies in general. Because if you've probably heard the term cultural reset get thrown around a lot nowadays, these monster movies were cultural reset. Nobody was making the choices that these monster movies were doing. So much progression, not just in the movies, but think about hair and makeup and the leaps that they're making with that. The monster movies were pioneers in that, inspiring filmmakers of all different genres, not just horror.
So we think of monsters. Dracula, Frankenstein. Movement. Bride of Frankenstein.
The Mummy,
Hunchback of Notre Dame,
The Invisible Man,
Phantom of the Opera.
classic films. They're just brilliantly made.
That Frankenstein image, flathead. It's one of the great icons of the world.
That to me was like the essence of the Universal horror film.
And I was just mesmerized by this movie.
Boris Karloff, Lon Chaney.
I remember the original Universal Studios Mummy movie really scaring me.
They still ring in our memories now, and we love them.
So I don't love them. That's my confession. I've been doing all this talk about the monsters, and again, it's not their fault. I told you how much of a scaredy cat I was earlier. So the monster movies have actually been helping me now that I've been watching them, because I wasn't lying to you, and I told you that Frankenstein is my favorite monster. He really is. It's just for a weirder reason than you might expect.
I am Dracula.
But you have to start with Dracula to get there. So Dracula was the first monster movie for Universal to become a hit. The actor who played him, Bela Lugosi, they wanted to run it back. They wanted to do it again. Hey, we have a new monster movie that we think is also going to be amazing. Come play Frankenstein for us. Bela did not want to do it. He was like, I don't think I want to wear all that prosthetic makeup, be in the chair for that long, all to get in front of that camera and not really have any lines. Because remember, most of what you're getting out of Frankenstein is... He said you could get a background actor to do that. That's what they did. Now enter Boris Karloff, the actor who played Frankenstein. He had been a background actor for more than a decade for Universal before he played this role and it made him a star. And the reason why I love him is because he reminds me of my princess, Sabrina Carpenter. Both of them have been paying their dues, being in the background, putting out albums, being in all these movies for so long, and then they come out of nowhere, and it seems like they just came out of nowhere, but really they've been doing their thing the whole time. I love that story. But I also love Boris' story because it gets weird for him on set when he's actually filming. Remember, what you're seeing on the screen, audiences had never seen anything like this before. This is the most grotesque thing. This was terrifying. They were so nervous that even the crew was going to get scared if they saw this. So on set when they were filming, if Boris was not in front of that camera and actively being shot in a scene, he'd have to wear a bag over his head. A literal bag. If you had to go to the bathroom, sure, walk you over, put the bag over your head. Can I get a snack? Sure, we'll feed you your Doritos underneath the bag over there. There weren't Doritos, but you know what I'm saying, right? They weren't taking any chances when they came to this. Even at the premiere when this movie happened, they had nurses in the aisles of the theater in case anyone fainted when they saw this pop up for the first time. And this is him wearing the bag over his head on the right. Now, Frankenstein is not just a pioneer for the horror genre, but also for its secrecy in the film, how they're literally keeping a secret about who he looks like, not just to the crew, but anybody who might be on set to not make sure it gets spoiled or leaked. That's a trend even nowadays, too. And not just for scary movies. Think about franchises that have a lot of intellectual property or IP to protect. We were talking earlier about Captain America: The First Avenger that filmed here on the lot in New York Street. There's that scene where Chris Evans, my doppelganger, he's chasing down that Hydra agent. Who's laughing? Hold on. Y'all don't see Chris Evans? Now you're quiet. Well, my mom sees it. That's what matters. I don't need y'all. No, he just said Hydra agent to this side, and I thought the end of the scene. Well, when they were filming here, of course, nobody could know. So they got the lawyers involved. NDA, non-disclosure agreement. So even if you know what they are and that they're filming here, you can't say anything, which is really awkward as a tour guide when that is our job. But Marvel also makes it more challenging because they love to use code names. They use them all the time. So if our sheet says, oh, Beller's in stage 7, Captain America: The First Avenger sheet said, something called Frostbite is filming in New York Street. Now, if you hadn't seen the movie since it hadn't come out yet, you don't even know what that means or what it's referring to. Meanwhile, it was Chris Evans running through the streets the whole time. And it gets even funnier with secret productions when there's things everywhere that give it away, but you still can't say anything. One of my favorites was Pirates of the Caribbean. There's a huge ship in the water. There's all these signs that say Pirates Base Camp, Pirates Hair and Makeup, but you can't say anything. She has to go, oh, everybody look at that over there. I wonder what they're filming. All this secrecy and stuff that they rely on nowadays, it traces its roots to the classic monsters, but of course, so does the horror genre as we know it today, comes from them. Traveling through all these exterior backlot sets, but now we get to shift gears and take you instead of a soundstage when it looks like they travel to a real location, but it's when they build it from the ground up. This train station set was actually being used by a production, so this is a hot set. So make sure as you enter the soundstage that you remain seated and hold on. And then here's another place to make sure that you hold on to all your belongings again, super close to you, that way you're not dropping anything, because it gets difficult to get back. There's a lot left over from that production this time for you. You see the director's chair to the left and the monitor that they watch from, because they don't hold the camera, they're just a cinematographer. But that production might have left something else in here too. They did leave behind the earthquake, but you're not dead. Oh, you are dead. so proud of y'all. That is not just a hot set in there. You survived earthquake, the big one. And that's a simulation of a 5.9 magnitude earthquake in there. And it feels so realistic because they're using practical effects to make it happen. Because those weren't screens doing that, right? Man, y'all look great in the 3D glasses. You don't need them for that because that is real, tangible stuff coming at you and shaking you. It's one of my favorite parts of the movies when they still use them. They translate so well to the screen, especially when you're in a theater. And you're not doing practical effects yet. You're getting ready to see some more. This time because you're headed to Amity Island. And that's just not familiar for all my Jaws fans. We're going to head over there to celebrate its 50th birthday from this past summer, so we can make sure you stay seated and hold on. I definitely have to because I can't swim, so y'all are on your own. Some of y'all were jumping back and screaming like you never seen this movie. We didn't see that coming? Look, I'm not one to judge you. I just told you how scared I am of everything. Let me check in on y'all. I can really see everybody's faces for the first time. Into their car 1, cars 2, 3, even in the back of car 4. Y'all still with us? Everybody's doing all right? Alright, that's what I love to see. Okay, I'm so glad none of y'all fell in. I wasn't lying when I told you I can't swim, but I would have put on some floaties and tried for you. You would have wanted somebody else, so I'm glad we didn't have to do that. Real quick though, we are a little bit past the halfway mark of the tour, so I do want to remind everyone to stay seated. This studio is private property, so at any point during the tour you drop your phone or can't wait to use the restroom, pull the cord, I'll be back to assist you. It's almost impossible to overstate how huge Jaws was and is. It is the reason we have the term blockbuster. Back then when you lined up in person for your tickets at the box office to get in, you could do it online. The lines would be so long to get in for a movie like Jaws, the collective weight of all the people standing outside would crack the sidewalk. So it would literally bust the block. That's where the term comes from. Not from the store, I miss it too, R.I.P. Jaws changed the studio tour forever with this attraction. It's been a fan favorite for decades, people still flocking here to see it. But even though it's been around for a long time, it's not the original attraction of the tour. There is one that comes before. It's to your left here in Old Mexico. Also, they're showing me to make it rain for the movies. With sprinklers that shoot the water up first. That's what falls down naturally for cameras. Whenever you see characters in a nice summer rain, it looks light, romantic. It is not. They come in a downpour every time. Has to be that heavy. That's how it pops it up on screen, so our eyes can tell that it's rain when we watch. For the actors that film in this, it can get miserable. That water can be freezing and it can hurt. I mean, you can see in here how heavy it is. You're getting pounded by it as you just try to tell your scene partner, but I just love you so much. Please take me back. I'm gonna turn it off so we don't get wet. Oh, I missed it, you guys. So sorry. Flash flood still going strong. My favorite part of it is the in there when it sneezes.
You can't outrun the wolf, kid! Yeah, we'll see about that. Hang on, buddy,
El Mexico, you turn on a Steven Spielberg drive, which is appropriate because it takes you just past the Jaws attraction you just did. You're getting a second look. And I love that it's off of his road because not many people know that he was also part of bringing this attraction to life as he was in the film. And he had way more fun with this ride in the movie. One reason being our shark was a whole lot better than ones he had on set. We'll let the man himself first talk to you about it as we continue to head up this drive.
The Jaws ride was almost the inevitable result of the size of the box office when Jaws first opened in June of 1975. And that was really the first time I ever got involved in the creation of a ride. It was a great honor to be invited into a creative circle of tremendous designers at Universal that were trying to figure out how to replicate what the movie had done to audiences in a real way by building a physical shark that would come out of the water and terrify tourists as they were sitting in the tram. And the most amazing thing about the Jaws ride is it is exactly as it was from the time it was first placed on Universal lot. There have been tweaks, of course, over the years, but it is essentially what the designers and myself all envisioned and created.
We got to wrap up our vacation at Amity Island because we're taking you back home to the suburbs. You just turned onto Colonial Street. This area also has a nickname, Anywhere USA. It looks like you could take this street, pick it up, plop it down Anywhere USA, and it fit right on in. You could also make the argument that this is the most popular place to film here on the lot. It is always getting used, and one reason why, commercials. Love it here, especially if you've been seeing recent ones. If you've been seeing for Wayfair when they say welcome to the neighborhood, this is it. They bring big names like Kelly Clarkson here all the time. Super Bowl commercials, love it here as well. Arnold Schwarzenegger did his here for State Farm. Beyonce was here for Verizon. And classic TV shows as well too, which one is hugely popular in Europe at this moment, which blows my mind that people travel from that far to come see these sets. And I'm like, how did you just find out about this show? It came out like 20 years ago. My mom used to watch that Dancing with the Stars. What's going on? But it is so popular right now. I love that it is. So if you know the reason why, please tell me. But Desperate Housewives fans, this is Wisteria Lane. They were here for all their seasons.
If there is one thing everyone in Suburbia can appreciate, it's a good neighborhood.
What the heck? Let's move back.
And I love to make the jump from a classic show to a brand new show that's on Colonial Street. It just came out on Peacock. The fourth season is on there. It's called The Burbs. Might sound familiar to you if you know the Tom Hanks movie from the late 80s, Carrie Fisher. This is an adaptation of that film. This series stars Keke Palmer. You don't have to say anything else. She can breathe. I throw her whatever award that she wants at her. So excited that she's in this, and I cannot wait to see what else she does in it. But that full season out, it's on Peacock right now.
Ashfield Place, the safest town in America. So, what's the deal with that Victorian house? There have been whispers of murder. Which one of us is the murderer? So are we gonna go in?
Do white ladies love salads? Hell yeah, we're going in.
Let the festivities begin.
How many we got?
Well, let's see. We got 20 cartons.
Fantastic.
Do you think we're getting too old for this?
Come on, Johnny, we're doing a public service here. If a kid leaves the house in a less than stellar Halloween costume, he's got to get the bad news before he makes a fool of himself all over town. We're Samaritans.
And a quick reminder, we're only around 10 to 15 minutes away from the end of the tour, so we're going to have you back at the theme park shortly. Once again, if you have an emergency, pull the cord, I'll be back to assist you. But on both sides of the trim, you're getting to see some stars of the screen. These are what you call picture cars. These are exactly what they sound like. These are cars that have been in the pictures, but it can be any vehicle. So if you see a plane, a boat, a helicopter, a Prius, they all count. Heavy hitters you're going to recognize, several from the Fast and Furious franchise on the left. Next to Bumblebee and the yellow and black for Transformers. I am nervous about one though. The owner of it, Marion Crane, the last time she was seen, she parked it outside of here at the Bates Motel. She has not been seen since. I hope nothing bad happened. You recognize the Bates Motel from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
You'll recognize the proprietor Norman Bates over there who's working. Now he's trying to change his reputation to get people to stay here again. He will carry you to your car when you check out. See, Marion Cray might be dead, but chivalry is not, everybody. Oh. Oh, y'all, I think you know, we gotta go, we saw him. Not you back there waving to the murderer. I can't hang with y'all in the horror movie. Y'all go too close to the sun, but I respect it. Hope you're just as brave though when you head to where Norman lives, because he doesn't live alone in the Psycho house. You know, he's a mama's boy. And I'll make it a little less scary for you as you get a closer look in person. On your screen first, these are the only two sides of the house that were built when they filmed the movie. It didn't become a building till later on when they added the other two walls. So the Psycho house is not a real house. If you go inside, it looks like an unfinished construction job. You just see the wooden beams like its skeleton, which is even scarier for me because how do they live in there without a toilet?
They're probably watching me. Well, let them see what kind of a person I am. I hope they are watching. They'll see, and they'll know, and they'll say, she wouldn't even harm a fly.
So that house might not have been a real house. That is not the case for this plane that you see behind it, because it is real. It weighs about 375,000 pounds, and it was brought here to be a part of this plane crash set for Paramount's movie War of the Worlds. This was another one directed by Spielberg, came out in 2005 with Tom Cruise.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around the vision of Steve.
We sit together to sit down and talk about the War of the Worlds. I thought, what if the 747 goes on right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep pressing me. Listen, now listen. I want you to close your eyes, okay? Got them closed? Robbie, get in. Get in.
So since this plane is real, it took a lot of work and creativity to bring it here, because it wasn't in LA, it was all the way in Mojave. So they had to slice it through the middle, split that plane in half basically, then chopped it up into all these pieces. They had to put the pieces on different flatbed trucks, and they had to fit under the overpasses when they were driving them along the highway just casually next to my Kia Forte. That's how committed they were to making sure this environment was as realistic as possible for audiences when they saw it. I mean, all this was done for a plane that was in the movie for just around 4 minutes. And I love the contrast between the real and the fake. We talked about the Psycho house not being a real house. The plane is real, but these houses across the street from it are not. These actually used to be my DIY projects gone wrong, but I'm glad they got a second life as a part of a movie set. But they're not even a building remotely. They're not a shell set. They don't have 4 walls. It's just flat on the front and then flat on the back. They're called facades. That's a French term you've probably heard before. It means false front. It's actually the second French term you've learned already. The first one was my name, Rashaun. Seriously, Rashaun actually comes from the French word meaning Beyonce. So those are 2 French terms you can teach everybody when you get back. You're gonna sound so smart. But if you've seen War of the Worlds, and this is all brought on by some alien activity in that movie, where you're headed to next is no stranger to that either. You're headed to Jupiter's Claim. These are the real sets they filmed it when they made Jordan Peele's of this movie, Nope. Here's Jordan.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible notion and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Claim, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky Juke Park. Over there, look into the winking well and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Show. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one?
No? What? A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. So live anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy of gold rush frontier town lies a sinister secret. Welcome to the world of no.
What's up, Studio Tour? I'm Kiki Palmer from Jordan Peele's film, Nope. What's a bad miracle? Well, you'll have to see our movie to answer that one. Until then, I hope you enjoy your visit to Jupiter's Clay.
Did you see a UFO in that cloud?
Yeah.
I ain't never seen nothing like this.
So the reason why I love Nope is because that's one of my favorite things that the movies can do. It's when they're able to combine the real elements, like a real set like Jupiter's Claim, with visual effects, make it look like it's one seamless thing. How that UFO is chasing them through Jupiter's Claim, getting the dust swept up in the wind like it's actually there. It feels like a magic trick to me. I feel like I'm a little kid. You get the same kind of magic over there to your right if you see that big old hole in the ground. That's not just there for parking. That's Falls Lake. You have to bring your own water though and be patient because it takes 3 days to fill that up. Once you do, use that big blue wall that's towering above it. And the blue wall functions just like a green screen. It's where your visual effects come into play. You can put whatever background you want onto there, really transform the space. One of the craziest transformations for me is when Warner Brothers was here for the movie Sully. This is the movie Tom Hanks was the pilot for the plane that landed in the Hudson River. They filmed that landing not at the Hudson River, nowhere near New York. They did it all right here in California with a hole in the ground.
Evacuate.
In this shot, the plane is real, the people are real, the water is real. The only thing that's not is that skyline in the background because that is the big blue wall in action. Again, why I love the movies. The fact that you can recreate something like this looks like they were at the scene filming it as it was happening, but they made all this from scratch, starting with a concrete pit that some people dug out. It Falls Lake wasn't just made for Sully, it's also been in some classics as well. You went to the Psycho House in the Bates Motel earlier, so you actually were another part of the crime scene when Norman Bates sunk the evidence over there. So Jaws the Revenge, or the sequels in the Jaws franchise, this is actually the very first production that that big blue wall was a part of, so this was its feature film debut. Jurassic Park 3, which Falls Lake was also in, just happens to be the very first PG-13 movie I saw in theaters, but I was a child. I think that's why I'm traumatized and scared of everything. I have not been able to watch a PG-13 movie since, but they filmed it there in Falls Lake too. Falls Lake for me, again, is the epitome of magic in the movies, but it's also why I love this tour so much because this is where you get to learn the secrecy behind the magic tricks and how they do it. So I love to always bring it up, but I also love to bring up this too, because we always say you never know who you're going to see on the lot. You never know who you're going to see next to you on the tram, because some of the legends, their whole career started with what we're doing right now, even Spielberg.
My entire career began with my relationship with Universal Studios just as a high school kid on a tour bus. Remember, in those days, there weren't trams, there were buses called the Gray Line Tour Bus. And I was so excited and thrilled to be on the lot. This was my first time ever on a movie studio lot. And during a bathroom break, I hid in the bathroom, and when everybody left to get back on the bus, I waited another 15 minutes until I'm sure the bus left, and then I had the entire lot to myself that day. And in those days, movie lots were so crowded because all movies were made on film lots. Today they're made all over the world, on locations, but most of it was focused in those days, in the 60s, on the film lots. So nobody noticed me when I was going around from soundstage to soundstage, and I really felt, in my own young way, I owned the lot and had the most amazing day of my life.
That does not work anymore, by the way. They do check the bathrooms now. I tried. But again, also why I love this tour, because it makes me feel like I'm just like Spielberg, but also just like these famous people here too that took the tour that you probably love.
I've been on that tour so many times since I was a kid, and I just love it every time.
The first time I ever went on the Universal lot, we did the tour.
I grew up in Los Angeles, and that was like the place to go and see Jaws.
I got my introduction to Universal Studios through the tour, and to then be in the movies and seeing the trams drive by, it's very overwhelming.
One of the coolest things actually about shooting for Universal is sometimes you shoot on the lot, and then you look over and it's like there's Jaws, or like there's the flash flood, and all those trams are riding around. It's the coolest thing ever.
1979. Back then, tram drivers were kind of a little reckless, a little crazy. There was no restriction on cars going anywhere. We used to drive all over and kind of duel with them back and forth.
I have so many amazing memories of the lot when we were shooting Back to the Future.
Being here brings me back in time, I'll tell you that.
The tram would come through, the tourists would see Michael J. Fox, and they're taking the camera, snap, snap, snap. So one day, Michael J. Fox had his own camera, and every time the tourists came through snapping their pictures, he ran out and he started taking pictures of them.
So much stuff going on through this tour throughout its history, but it's also special because it is the reason that there is a theme park here for us to get back to. There are no rides here. There's no Universal Park across the globe. If it weren't for this tour, bringing guests to Movie Studio Lot in the first place, and bringing them over and over since, allowing for us to bring into rides, expand, and have parks go everywhere. And it is a world famous, as we say, without every studio tour ambassador, driver, and guide throughout our history who've made it that way, but also the ones from today who keep it that way. Especially the one next to me, your driver, Richard. Now, please do me a favor, give a round of applause to thank Richard. I love a golf clap, that's so precious. And keep it going for yourselves too, because there is no tour without y'all. Thanks so much for coming to make this tour part of your day here today. And for my past members, because I know you're here, we see you. Thanks for being one. If you want to be a past member too, you go to the Universal box office, one of the upgrade kiosks. They can show you how to turn today's ticket into an annual pass. I mean, I don't see y'all before. Plan to come back this April and May to experience the best of sci-fi, war, fantasy, anime, and gaming all collide at Universal Fan Fest nights, because it is back. This year you can step into the iconic worlds of Scooby-Doo and the Universal Monsters, One Piece, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and a bunch more. So if you want to find out more information or purchase tickets, you can visit universalstudioshollywood.com. And something that's for free that you can get that's going to help you in the park today, get that Universal Studios Hollywood app. There's so much in there, like the park hours. It goes at 9, by the way. Show times for Waterworld, which if you haven't seen it, the first time I saw that show, I thought it was going to be about bubbles. I was so wrong. It is insane what they do. If you never see it, definitely check it out. I think the last show's at 6:15 today. You can do mobile food ordering, which I feel like not a lot of people know about. Do you know how cool I felt the other day when I went to go get my nachos at the Bumblebee truck? Got my food before people were still waiting in line to order. I felt so bougie, but keep that between us, okay? That's our secret. And then if you want to purchase any of the Embassy Universal movies and TV shows from your tour, you can visit universalpicturesathome.com or ask at any of our retail stores, and they'll be able to help you out. But we're making our approach back to the plaza right now. I think there's just going to be one tram ahead of us. When their guests get off safely, we'll be right after them. So I love the time to show this. I told you I don't like the scary movies, but what I do love is to laugh. This is my favorite part of the movies. Right now, everybody, thanks so much for coming to make this show part of the day today. Such a pleasure being your guide. I hope you all had fun, even learned a little something. If you did, my name is Rashaun. If you hated it, the name is Meryl Streep. The gates are going to get raised for you. Make sure that you don't leave any of your belongings behind, and y'all have a great rest of your day here at the park. As I say here in Hollywood, that's a wrap, baby. We'll see y'all next time. Bye!